Famous people and celebrities who passed away in 1970 in the United States. This is the fourth episode. Before we proceed, please subscribe to our channel to support us. Inger Stevens. She was born in October 1934 and she died in April 1970. Her age was 35 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was overdose. Inger Stevens was a Swedish-American film, stage, and Golden Globe-winning television actress. Inger Stevens was born in Stockholm, Sweden. In 1944, Steven and her brother moved to the United States and lived with their father and his new American wife in New York City, where her father was completing his PhD in education at Columbia University. Stevens appeared on television series, in commercials, and in plays until she received her big break in the film Man on Fire, starring Bing Crosby. Roles in major films followed, including a starring role opposite Harry Belafonte in 1959's The World, The Flash, and The Devil, but she achieved her greatest success in the television series The Farmer's Daughter from 1963 to 1966 with William Wyndham. Previously, Stevens had appeared in episodes of Bonanza, Route 66, The Alfred Hitchcock Hour, The 11th Hour, Sam Benedict, The Acquaintance, and The Twilight Zone. At the time of her death, Stevens was attempting to revive her television career with the detective drama serial The Most Deadly Game. Billie Burke. She was born in August 1884 and she died in May 1970. Her age was 85 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Billie Burke was an American actress who was famous on Broadway and radio and in silent films and in sound films. She is best known to modern audiences as Glinda the Good Witch of the North in the MGM film musical The Wizard of Oz in 1939. Burke was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for her performance as Emily Kilborn in Merrily We Live in 1938. She had appearances in the Topper film series. She was married to Broadway producer and impresario Florence Ziegfeld Jr. from 1914 until his death in 1932. Burke went on to play leads on Broadway in Mrs. Suzanne, The Runaway, Mind the Paint Girl, and The Land of Promise from 1910 to 1913, along with a supporting role in the revival of Sir Arthur Wayne Pinaro's The Amazons. There, she met producer Florence Ziegfeld, marrying him in 1914. Burke was signed for the movies and made her cinematic debut in the title role of Peggy in 1915. Her success was phenomenal, and she was soon earning what was reputedly the highest salary of any film actress up to that time. Abraham Maslow. He was born in April 1908 and he died in June 1970. His age was 62 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was heart attack. Abraham Maslow was an American psychologist who created Maslow's hierarchy for needs, a theory of psychological health predicted on fulfilling innate human needs in priority, culminating in self-actualization. Maslow was a psychology professor at Brandeis University, Brooklyn College, New School for Social Research, and Columbia University. He stressed the importance of focusing on the positive qualities in people as opposed to treating them as a bag of symptoms. A review of General Psychology survey published in 2002 ranked Maslow as the 10th most cited psychologist of the 20th century. Maslow was concerned with questions such as, why don't more people self-actualize if their basic needs are met? How can we humanistically understand the problem of evil. In the spring of 1961, Maslow and Tony Sutik founded the Journal of Humanistic Psychology with Miles Veitch as editor until 1971. The journal printed its first issue in early 1961 and continues to publish academic papers. Louise Freeland Jenkins. She was born in July 1888 and she died in May 1970. Her age was 81 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Louise Freeland Jenkins was an American astronomer who compiled a valuable catalog of stars within 10 parsecs of the Sun, as well as editing the third edition of the Yale Bright Star catalog. She was born in Pittsburgh, Massachusetts. In 1911, she graduated from Mount Holyoke College. Then she received a master's degree in astronomy in 1917 from the same institution. From 1913 to 1915, she worked at the Allegheny Observatory in Pittsburgh. Afterwards, she was an instructor at Mount Holyoke from 1915 to 1920. About 1921, she moved to Japan, becoming a teacher at the Women's Christian College, a missionary school. She returned to the United States in 1925 after her father died. A year later, she returned to teach at a school in Himeji. In 1932, she returned to the United States and became a staff member at the Yale University Observatory. She was co-editor of the Astronomical Journal starting in 1942 and continued in this post until 1958. She would return to visit Japan later in her life. She was noted for her research into trigonometric parallax of nearby stars. She also studied variable stars. George Watkins. He was born in June 1900 and he died in June 1970. His age was 69 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. George Watkins was a Major League Baseball player born in Freestone County, Texas, who owns the National League record for the highest batting average in his rookie season, batting .373 in his rookie year of the 1930 with the St. Louis Cardinals. Watkins went on to play until 1936 season with the New York Giants in 1934, the Philadelphia Phillies from 1935 to 1936, and Brooklyn Dodgers in 1936, never again posting a batting average over .312. On June 24, 1931, he hit 3 home runs in one game. In 894 games played, Watkins compiled a .288 batting average with 490 runs scored, 73 home runs, 420 RBI, a .347 on-base percentage, and a .443 slugging percentage in 7 major league seasons. He posted a career .956 fielding percentage in 9 World Series games. He batted .231, scoring 6 runs with 2 home runs and 3 RBI. He died in Houston, Texas. Brian Piccolo. He was born in October 1943 and he died in June 1970. His age was 26 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was cancer. Brian Piccolo was an American professional football player who was a halfback for the Chicago Bears of the National Football League (NFL) for 4 years. He played college football for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. He died at age 26 from embryonal cell carcinoma, an aggressive form of germ cell testicular cancer, first diagnosed after it had spread to his chest cavity. Piccolo was the subject of the 1971 TV movie Brian's Song, with a remake television movie of the same named film in 2001. He was portrayed in the original film by James Caan and by Sean Maher. In the 2001 remake, Piccolo played college football at Wake Forest in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. His only other scholarship offer was from Wichita State. He led the nation in rushing and scoring during his senior season in 1964 and was named the Atlantic Coast Conference ACC Player of the Year, yet went unselected in both AFL and NFL drafts. In the balloting for the Heisman Trophy, won by John Reid of Notre Dame, Piccolo was 10th. Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day.